Hello everyone, welcome to the Commander's Garage. As you can see in front of you, General Tazri is going to be the leader of the deck that I'm about to show you guys. It's actually a really fun deck, lots of combos. Without further ado, let's get started. Tazri, as you can see, is a 3/4 human ally, costs 4 and a white to play. When it enters the battlefield, you can search for any ally card from your library, add it to your hand, shelf your library. Then you pay Wooburg, and ally creatures you control get +X/+X till the end of the turn, where X is the number of colors among those creatures. I mainly use the first effect to search out my combo pieces. The second effect is just real nice whenever I actually have to do a combat style. I run 6 cards that allow me to search and or draw creatures out of the deck. Mardu Ambush Leader. It's a 3/4 legendary core ally with haste for 2 and a red and a white. It has rally, and now rally is a enter the battlefield effect, and whenever it or another ally enters the battlefield under my control, I look at the top 4, reveal any number of allies. If it's all 4, then yes. If I only want one of them, I can only take one. It doesn't really matter. I add that to my hand, and I put the rest of the cards, or I put those on top and put the rest on the bottom. It's pretty much a scry 4 for allies. After that, I've got Seagate Loremaster. It's a 1/3 Merfolk Wizard ally, cast for 4 and a blue. Its ability is tap, draw a card for each ally you control. This can get really out of hand later on in the game. I have another form of Tazri that we just got out of, I do believe that was Zendikar. Yet again, it's actually not an ally in this case. It cast for 4 and a white, just like its other counterpart. It does cost 1 less to cast for each creature in your party. A party member is Warrior, Wizard, Rogue, and can't really remember the other one. Cleric. It says right on the card. Her ability is you can pay blue, black, red, green, or 2 of anything in place of that. You look at the top 6 cards of your library, reveal up to 2 cleric, rogue, warrior, wizard, and or allies. From one of them, put them into your hand, put the rest on the bottom in any order. I've got the enchantment called Kindred, which is an enchantment creature for 3 and a blue. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may look at the top 5 cards of your library. If you do, put a creature card that shares a creature type, like ally, with the enchanted creature from among them onto the battlefield, and put the rest on the bottom of any order. So it allows you to pretty much trip your enter the battlefield effects right off the bat. Icon of Ancestry. It's an artifact for 3. When it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures you control the chosen type get +1/+1, and then you can pay 3 to tap it. Look at the top 3, reveal a creature card of the chosen type, put it in your hand, put the rest on the bottom in any order. Then I've got the big boy, Kindred Summons. For 5 and 2 green, for instant, I choose a creature type and I reveal cards from the top of my library until I reveal X creature cards of the chosen type, or X is the number you control. Then I put those cards onto the battlefield and I put the rest onto the bottom of the library, or shuffle the rest into the library. So if I have 5 allies out, I pull 5 more straight from the top of the deck, put them into play, get all their into the battlefield effects. That's it for card advantage. General Tazri does count towards that, so it's technically 7. I have 6 ramp spells with 2 accelerants. First up is Beastcaller Savant. 1 in green for a Elf Shaman 1/1 with haste. You can tap it to add 1 mana of any color. Spend this only to cast a creature spell. That's mainly what I use it for, obviously, and most of my deck actually is creature spells. Then I've got Harbaz Druid. It's also 1 in a green for a human druid ally 0/1. I can tap it to add X, mana of any one color, where X is the number of allies I control. There's been games where I've had 10, 20 allies out on board and it just pretty much had everything to cast without even touching my lands. Up next we have a couple of ramp staples. Farseek 1 green sorcery, search for plains, island, swamp, mountain. Onto the battlefield tap, shuffle it. Rampant Growth, 1 green as well, sorcery, search for any basic land. Put it onto the battlefield tap to shuffle library. I got a Pillar of Origins, which is a really good tribal mana rock. Enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Add 1 mana of any color, spend it only to cast a creature of the chosen type. Arcane Signet, new staple, 2 tap, add 1 mana of any color to your commander's color identity. Chromatic Lantern gives all your lands tap, add 1 mana of any color, and it also taps for a mana of any color. And the obligatory Soul Ring. Up next, more ways to get more uses out of your creatures. Deadeye Navigator, 4/2 blue, Soulbind. As long as he's soulbound with another creature, those creatures pay 1 blue. Exile this creature, return it to the battlefield under control. Joel Shapeshifter. It's a Shapeshifter ally, 0/0 for 2, 1 and a blue. When it enters the battlefield, you can have it become a copy of, it comes in as a copy of any ally creature. It is a May, you can have it come in on its own, but it would die instantly, no toughness. Vizier of the Many Faces. 2 blue. When it enters the battlefield, you may have it enter as a copy of another creature on the battlefield. Except for if you embalm it, it becomes a token zombie. In addition to its other types with no mana cost and white, it embalms for 3 blue. Cloud Shift, simple blink effect. Exile it out for 1 white, return it right to the battlefield. Conjurer's Closet, artifact for 5. At the beginning of your end step, blink a creature out. Comes right back in. Trip those under the battlefield effects. Ghostly Flicker, 2 blue for an instant. Exile 2 target artifact, creatures, and or lands you control. Return those cards to the battlefield under your control. I've actually used this to dodge out of a couple of heavy-hitting board wipes. Keep my key combo pieces. March for the Tomb, 3 white black. Return any number of target ally creatures with a total converted mana cost of 8 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. Pull a Shapeshifter back, the Druids, stuff like that, and get your value engine back online after a board wipe. Panharmonicon, because a lot of my combo pieces are enter the battlefield effects. It's an artifact for 4. If an artifact or creature entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability, triggered at an additional time. Rally the Ancestors, it's X spell, white for instant. Return each creature card with converted mana cost X or less from graveyard. Exile them at the beginning of the next end step. I normally play this on my upkeep. Well, not my upkeep, but my first main. Get a bunch of triggers off. Really good. And then the newest addition to the deck, Reflections of Letajara. That's an enchantment for 4 and a blue. As it enters the battlefield, choose creature type. When you cast the spell of a chosen type, copy it. So I would make 2 of my druids if this was out. I keep talking about the combos, so here it is. Hagrid Dubalist. I know I butchered that name. It's a 2/3 Ogre Shaman ally for 4 and a black. When it or another ally enters the battlefield, you may have target player lose life equal to the number of allies you control. This is one of my key combos. Another one is Halimar Excavator. 1 and a blue for a human wizard ally, 1/3. When it enters the battlefield or another ally enters the battlefield, target player puts the top X cards of his or her library into his graveyard, where X is the number of allies you control. Castella Healer, another one. White black for a 1/2 vampire cleric ally. Its ability is whenever it or another ally enters the battlefield, each opponent loses a life, you gain a life. The final combo piece, well, not the final, but the final creature, it's actually Timber Ranger. For 3 and 2 green, you get an Elf Scout ally 2/2. With whenever it enters the battlefield or another ally enters the battlefield, you put a 2/2 green wolf token onto the battlefield. If you do, put a 1/1 counter on. The reason why I say it's my main combo piece, it goes infinite with Conspiracy and Arcane Adaptation. Conspiracy is 3 black. When it comes into play, choose a creature type. Creature cards you own that aren't in play, and creature spells you control, and creatures you control are the chosen type. Arcane Adaptation is essentially the same thing, except for it's a 2 and a blue instead of the 3 and a black. Well, 3 and 2 black. Which means with these in play, the wolf creature token that Timber Ranger brings out becomes a wolf ally. And thus triggering his effect to constantly put those out. And then you can bleed out a single opponent, bleed all your opponents, or mill all your opponents. There are other combos that you can go into, loop your players' hands out and stuff like that, make them top deck. Those are just my 3 main game wins. Speaking of all the other allies, there is a section of this deck that I actually call the Ally Toolbox. There's 32 cards in it. I'll just go over them real quick with you. Adaptive Automaton. It's an artifact construct, or artifact creature construct for 3. It's a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. It becomes the chosen type, and in addition to its other types, other creatures you control the chosen type get +1/+1. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. I'm just going to call it the Oculist. That's what I always call it. 2 and a black for a 0/2 human shaman ally, which you tap, put target creature card from an opponent's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control if its converted mana cost is less or equal to the number of allies you control. So you can steal just about anything in their graveyard, especially if you've been milling them. Akorum Battle Singer. 1 red, well, 1 and a red for a human berserker ally, 1/1, has haste. When it or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, ally creatures go up 1/1. Helps boost your board state as far as your power, swinging big. Ball-Again Thief, this is the one where you can rip cards out of your opponent's hands. 3 and a black for human rogue ally, 2/2. And when it or another ally enters the battlefield, target player reveals a number of cards in his hand equal to the number of allies you control. You choose one of them, that player discards it. Chasm Guide. 3 and a red for Goblin Scout ally, 2/2, or 3/2. Whenever it or another ally enters, gives them haste, so you can start drawing cards using the mana guys right off the bat. Horhelm Guide. 1 and a blue for a 2/1 Merfolk Scout ally. You can pay 4 and a blue, and target creature can't be blocked this turn, so if you pump Tazri up with all your big spells, you can just one-shot an opponent. Fire Mantle Mage. 2 and a red, human shaman ally, 2/2. This guy gives your creatures all menace whenever it or another ally enters the battlefield. Hero of Gomafuda. 4 and a white for a human knight ally, 4/3. He gains indestructible whenever it or another ally enters the battlefield. Kavira Eva Angel. 2 and a white, human cleric ally. This gives you protection from a chosen color, well, all your allies at least. It's a 2/3. Khazadu Blademaster. White human soldier ally, 1/1 first strike and vigilance. Whenever it or another ally but enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on it. He can get real big real quick. Kazul Warlord, 4 and a red for Minotaur Warrior ally, 3/3. He puts a 1/1 counter on every ally you control whenever it or another ally enters the battlefield. Blade Whirler, 1 and a white for a 2/2 core soldier ally. It gives all your creatures first strike. Entanglers is a 4 and white core soldier ally. 3/4. Whenever it enters the battlefield, it allows you to tap down a creature your opponents control. It's it or another ally. Lantern Scout, 2 and white for a human scout ally. 3/2. Gives everybody lifelink whenever it or another ally enters the battlefield. Mankandi Aeronaut. There's a real limited amount of flyers in this deck, so he doesn't have an effect other than flying, but he's a 2/1. He's a 1/3 for 1 white and 1. Mankandi Patrol, 2 and a white for a human knight ally. Whenever it enters the battlefield or another one, you get vigilance. He's a 2/3. Metallic Mimic, much like the Adaptive Automaton. It's a shapeshifter for 2. 2/1. You choose a creature type. It gains it, and then they also enter with an additional 1/1 counter from him. So it's a permanent boost even after he disappears. Ondu Champion, 2 and 2 red for a Minotaur Warrior ally, 4/3. He gives all your guys trample whenever it or another ally enters the battlefield. Ondu Cleric, 1 and a white for 1/1 core cleric ally. You gain life equal to the number of allies you control whenever he or another ally enters the battlefield. Resolute Blade Master, 3, a red and a white for human soldier ally, 2/2. He gives everybody double strike when it or another ally enters the battlefield. Seascape Artist, 4 and a blue for a Merfolk Wizard ally, 2/3. Grants everybody flying. Tazri Warcaller, 3 and 2 green, elf warrior ally for 2/1. Whenever it or another ally enters, all creatures you control get +2/+2 till the end of the turn. Talus Paladin is 3 and a white for a human knight ally, 2/3. Whenever it or another ally you control enters the battlefield, you may have allies gain lifelink, and then I also can put a +1/+1 counter on them, so it'll stick around a little bit longer. Tuk Tuk Scrapper, 2/2 for 3 and a red, Goblin Artificer ally. He will destroy an artifact, and if an artifact is put in the graveyard this way, he deals damage to that artifact's controller equal to number of allies I control. It's another way to burn, but they have to have a lot of allies. The last creature I have is Universal Automaton. It's just the basic 1/1 shapeshifter changeling for 1. Now, I count these more as my creatures anyways, but they're really not. We have Captain's Claws. It's an equipment for 2. Equipped creature gets +1/+0, and whenever equipped creature attacks, you put a 1/1 core ally creature token on the battlefield tapped and attacking. It equips for 1. The only Planeswalker in the deck, Gideon, ally of Zendikar, for 2 and 2 white. A 4 loyalty Planeswalker who can, for +1, becomes a 5/5 soldier ally with indestructibility. And you prevent all damage that would be dealt to him this turn. That's his +1. 0 is just make a 2/2 knight ally. And his -4, you get a emblem with the anthem effect of +1/+1 to all creatures. There's a few more. Join the ranks, 3 and a white, put 2 1/white soldier ally creature tokens onto the battlefield. Great way to just start up your rally effects. Oath of Gideon. It's 2 and a white. When it enters the battlefield, you put 2 white core ally creature tokens onto the battlefield, and then each planeswalker you control enters with an additional loyalty. I play this mainly for the first effect, but if I have this down before I put Gideon down, I can automatically -4 him and still have him run for the next turn as long as he doesn't get swung at. The Bears of Litajara. This is a new saga. I only actually put it in for the first one to create a 2/2 blue shapeshifter because it becomes an ally. And it's 1 green and blue. Retreat to Emiria for 3 and a white. It's a landfall enchantment. I normally choose the put a 1/1 white ally core or core ally onto the battlefield. Every now and then I have used it to put the +1/+1 to overpower. Then last is United Front, which is 3 and a white. With Converge, you put a 1/1 white ally creature token onto the battlefield. For each mana color spent to cast this, this is a 5-color deck, but it's only 4 CMC cards, so the max you're going to ever get out of this is a 4. I do have 2 instances of spot removal. I have Mortify, destroy target creature enchantment for 1 white and a black. Despark for a white and a black. Exile target converted or exile target permanent with converted mana cost 4 or greater. This gets rid of those pesky planeswalkers that are getting ready to ult on you when you can't swing through their board state. Gets rid of the big boss creature that you're too afraid to swing into. And last but not least, we have the non-basic lands. Ally Encampment. You can tap for colorless, tap for 1 mana of any color, only can cast that on a ally spell. Or you can pay 1, sacrifice it, and return target ally you control to its owner's hand. I've used this actually to bounce Tazri back to avoid it getting blown up and having to pay the additional tax on her. Command Tower, it's a staple in the format. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. Darksteel Citadel, it's just indestructible, taps for 1 colorless. Dragon Skull Summit, it enters tapped unless you control a swamp or a mountain. Chances are I'm going to have that. Exotic Orchard, taps for a mana of any color land that our opponents could produce. Or a 5-color deck, someone's going to have to be playing something that we can use. Overgrown Tomb, the black-green Shockland. Prairie Stream, and it'll enter tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. Shine, Shadow, Snarl, enters tapped unless you reveal a plains or a swamp from your hand. Prairie Stream does actually qualify for that because it has the plains typing. Stomping Ground, the red-green Shockland. Temple of Apathy, enters tapped. It's a scry 1. Taps for red or blue. Unclaimed Territory, taps for colorless. You choose a creature type when it enters. You can tap it to add 1 mana of any color. Spend that mana only to cast a creature of the chosen type. And then we have a Woodland Cemetery, which enters tapped unless I control either a forest or a plains. Basic lands, I run... Grab them real quick. I run 4 plains. 7 islands, 4 swamps, 4 mountains, and 4 forests. I do appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully I can have the other build of Tazri up and ready to go. It's not the ally version, it's actually the party mechanic. Let me guys know what you think. Hopefully somebody likes this, or if you can find another couple of ways for this deck to combo out. I would appreciate the comments. I'll see you guys later.